well, the timer's ticked down, so we're going to get back into it. This is Rise of Industry. This game, it really has my attention. I like it. I like it rather a lot. It's quite simple in what it does, but there's a beauty to that simplicity. I think it looks nice, feels nice. The way in which you get ahead in the game feels really good, because investments are heavy, but the payoffs are heavy. And it feels really good watching your setups that work just keep operating and making you tons of money. It's not quite up there with the likes of Factorio, but I don't think it's trying to be up there with the likes of Factorio. In any case, we've set up some very basic things around here. It's hardly optimal, because I don't really know what optimal is in this game. I'm especially reflecting on the fact that I have setups like these that I thought, ooh, I'm clever, I'm leaving space for my extra cow fields when I unlock the tech to be able to have more cattle per field, but of course that's going to increase the amount of water that they need. And I did not extend the same courtesy to my water siphons. There's probably a better setup than I did here. For example, when I get the technology that gives me, geez, where is it? I'm sure it's one of these things. Fields and harvesters, perhaps? Yeah, here we go, 2 coastal harvesters. Where exactly is this going to squeeze in 2 more water harvesters, I dare to ask? Clearly, there's a better way to set this up, but I'm not about to tear it down and do it all over again. It works as it stands right now, and there's very little reason to change that. I think when and if I come back to this game and I do a real big proper map, which of course would be the map of Europe if I can get it to work, I would probably have to set up things like this to make me the money, and then put it to the side and build up another part of the map a lot more optimally, since I'll have the money to do that, especially to terraform these bumps out of the way. If I wanted to flatten this place north of Canoas, just how much cost are we talking here? Well, it's not going to tell me because I'm missing a permit, but let's say I were to do it here. These costs spiral out of control. Just a chunk like this, for example, would cost 10 million. But I'm fairly certain in this game, making the multi-millions and multi-billions isn't that far off. There's a water tower tech, that way farms don't need water from a siphon. If I'm not mistaken, the water tower still needs its water delivered? But I could well be wrong, I have not checked that tech out. Hey, it might be something to check out. Irrigation Tower, can build irrigation towers. Game, tell me more about that. Is it in the recipe book? If I look under no, it's not going to be there. It may or may not show it to me here. What would it be under? Is it a logistical thing? Ah, it's under farming. The irrigation tower will collect and distribute units of water to farm buildings that need it without the need for... Oh, really? It doesn't need it delivered at all? How in the world does that work? Well, now my curiosity is piqued. I'm going to get rid of these expansion texts, because what I want to do right now is figure out more of the game rather than just build up what I have here, although that's going to have to be part of it. My goals here are to produce a tier 3 item. There was an achievement for it, so I thought, okay, getting to tier 3 is probably a big deal. I also want to do some buyouts, and I want to check out Zeppelins, but I'm going to add irrigation towers to that mix. So, I don't think I'll need heavy, what even is that? Heavy textile? Heavy something or other. But instead, we're going to get that done. I think I'll even get rid of you. I will want to get my Zeppelin place operational, because I want to be able to travel with Zeppelins with my fancy textiles that I make. And then... where were we even looking at? Yeah, let's check out this irrigation tower thing. Ah. Collection radius of the irrigation tower improved. I wonder if it needs to be made near water. Possibly. We'll check that out when we have access to it. And what was the last thing? I want to make a tier 3 item. Summer clothes or napkins are certainly an option. A quilt. How quaint. cotton and light fabric. Well, it would have to be something that there's a demand for. And down in Aracaju, there is no demand for quilts. There is, however, demand for napkins. But summer clothes are holy moly levels of money. So it's hard to say no to getting my summer clothes. Very expensive to do that, though. In fact, a bunch of these things are very expensive to do. So it might even be worth my time getting the ability to invest a lot more. Yeah, up my investments up to 1 million so I can really plow through that. And then I'll have my summer clothes. So that's going to be the plan. We'll get that done and hopefully not go bankrupt in the meantime, since I am heavily in debt right now. But as things are, they should be okay. The game wants me to deal with this pollution, and I should have a way to do that, since I did get my air purifier. Seems a bit of a waste to be doing this right here, but we'll do it anyway. There you go. And this thing, I believe, needs water. There we go. And this water siphon overproduces. It has plenty banked up after all. So I shall tell you that you have the destination of getting to the air purifier. The air purifier uses 1 bit of water every 15 days. That's okay, this guy already pumps out plenty. So once you get that, it'll probably, hopefully, clear this horrific smog. Stocks represent our control over a company. If we manage to buy another company's stock, we will own them. But remember, they can buy us out too. Well, nobody seems to have bought me up, and I am, I believe, yes, the highest valued around. So I'll probably buy out LLP. For now, though, the game wants me to just buy a little bit of it, so yoink. We now have all the tools we need to complete the final objective, produce a prototype product that pushes our company to the highest pedestal. Oh, so that's how we win. Produce the prototype product. What can we do in terms of prototyping then? Somebody told me previously, and as I do, I managed to forget. Car prototype, the first computer, and the pre-made dinner are all available to me. And they all need a lot of things. But what counts as the prototype here? Is the chicken dinner the prototype? I think what you need to do is produce the chicken dinner and the berry pie and the dinner container, and then that comes together to make the prototype dinner here, I think. But it's not showing up. You'd think the car prototype would involve making the car. But how do you get it to show up? I don't know. Recipe book. Can you tell me something about a dinner? Yeah, the pre-made dinner needs all of these things. 2 chicken dinners, 2 berry pies, and that's your dinner. And the price of one pre-made dinner in Brazil is 23 million American dollars. And you wonder how the BRs are in the state that they are. Still, if I try to get my pre-made dinner, it doesn't show up here, and I don't know why. You need a max level city first with a showroom that you can deliver the prototype to, says Baskinger. Ah, I see, I see. I'm not sure we're quite going to get to max level cities around here. What I am seeing, though, is that I've got my... Yeah, I've got my petrochemical plants that I don't think I want operational at all anymore. They've delivered all the goods, they've used up all the oil, and I don't plan on getting oil, so I think I'm actually just going to tear them down. There doesn't seem to be much point in keeping hold of them for now. So, farewell. I get quite a lot of money back, actually. I made quite a loss on petrochemicals because I vastly underestimated the cost of importing raw materials. To my eternal credit, it's still not clear what you pay for them. If I wanted to import wood, for example, how would I see the cost? I think I would calculate... I think I would check the base price of it and then multiply it by 250%. That might make sense. Because the oil was costing... the oil was costing me 3 times that, though. Well, a little under, so maybe 250% is reasonable. I just don't know. Oh, well, 250% of that average price would make sense. Yeah. Okay, but big mistake. Do not import unless you're making tier 3 things. That's probably the way forward. And also, farewell petrochemical plant. I will miss you. I had such high hopes for chugging out these goods on the cheap, but the game is on to me. And hey, the air purifier is doing a great job of clearing out all this smog. The thing is, I don't really think it needed to. Oh, whoops, you're sending in a bit too much water there. It doesn't need more than 3. So hold your horses there. Alright, soon I'll have my light fabrics, and then they'll be sent over here for the big boon. And instead of setting up a train yard, I'm going to set up a Zeppelin, and I will send my goods over to Aracaju by Zeppelin in style. Then I'm going to figure out how I can water, or irrigate rather. I'm not going to set up an efficient layout for it, of that I'm pretty much certain, but I do want to see how it all works. So there we go. Got my light fabrics, and that is exactly what this textile factory is going to do. Set it to that, turn you on, and you need those fibers and dyes. Fibers and dyes, huh? But more fibers than dyes. If that's the case... I want you to always keep one of these to hand. And send your fibers here. But make sure they don't have more than 4 fibers in stock. That makes sense. Yes, it does. And as for you two, always keep a bit of dye on hand, and that dye belongs to the textile factory. Who again, shouldn't hold more than, let's say 2. So now, you should be getting all these goods easily peasily. Well, you will if the textile factories actually get their goods. What are they short on? You've got your water, you've got your berries. So get to work. Actually, really, what's stopping you here? They need 3 water and... oh, 3 water and 2 berries. Or am I reading that wrong again? No, 2 berries and 1 water. Jinx, I don't know how I managed to misread that so many times. Which tells me they're not getting all their berries. Ah, I think I was underproducing my berries from the get-go. Yes, yes I was. Why did I not build a second berry field, I wonder? I'm sure I had my reasons, but that doesn't mean the reasons were any good. Might have been this hump over here getting in my way. Since I'm not overly concerned about efficiency, well, I should be concerned about water. I don't have enough of that, do I? This is one water-thirsty game. Ah, well, not going to worry about it. So my dye will be a little short in coming out. No big deal. Now they got what they need. The drains can drive through each other? Is that true, Kaladin? I saw some people's photos of having train roundabouts and train bypasses and such, which led me to assume that you actually have to consider train traffic. Thanks for the reminder game. Petrochemical plant is going goodbye. Very generous of the game to give such a refund on that. So once this textile thingamajigger is done and dusted, You shall... Yeah, you're just going to send it over to the warehouse, send everything there, and the warehouse itself is going to be putting those tier 2 units, the light fabric, over to that clothing store. Make sure you send full units and meet demand, please. Oh my goodness, we're going to have our Zeppelin field in no time, and oh my goodness, I'm actually making a headway on clearing off my horrific loans. I think we'll get rid of that 25% interest loan first. Cheeky freaking game. So if you missed it, there was an auction to buy out, or to get permission to build in Olinda. I just did it because I wanted to try getting other permissions and not having my competitor build here. Unfortunately, as the auction went on, I didn't have enough money to cover my bid. I went into debt, and then I got the achievement for going bankrupt. But the game seems to give you one last chance of getting out of bankruptcy, and that's with a 25% interest loan. Naturally, being such the great entrepreneur that I am, paying off that loan has proven to be no problem. Right, let's get Zeppelining. Just how much is this stuff going to cost me? About $500,000. Don't see a reason why I couldn't just have this. They should be able to go in and out no problem. Ah, but I will need another Zeppelin set up. And probably a corresponding warehouse over here. But that I can do. Get ourselves a wee warehouse. Mini and an outy way here. What if we just do it cheeky like this? Again, cringe-worthy setups of that, I'm sure. But that's okay. And then, of course, you need your corresponding Led Zeppelin. I can smell the debt already. Okay. Now. I want you to be putting your goods over to that warehouse by Zeppelin. And again, make sure it's full. And then this warehouse will be taking those goods in and sending them over there. Again, meet demand and wait till it's full. I'm getting dangerously hot under the collar at the thought of setting up a really big network like this in this game. Possibly dangerously so. But, and I can't stress this enough, I need to find a way to get the European map working. Not just European map, but custom maps. Because I'm not drawn to this blob of mass here. I'm drawn to the real world. The art style is blocky Unity. I've seen it so much I hate it, says Plo. It's certainly a style, but I don't find it ugly. Then again, that's a very subjective thing. Take that game Architect, for example. Very functional game, but I find it so ugly that it's hard to motivate playing it whatsoever. I can totally understand if somebody feels the same way towards this, but me, I like this. I like the look of all this. Oh, you have no idea my quest. Sometimes you just wake up in the morning knowing that you want to create. I was really hunting for a game like this over the past few weeks. Again, I don't think this game is going to be something that I'm playing for hundreds and hundreds of hours, but it is something that makes me want to go full Railway Empire on it, even just once. I'm going to send the dev another message and explain exactly what I'm trying to do and if it's at all possible. The refer to the documentation response was clearly not enough for me, because I tried and failed. Calden says there should be maps downloadable on the nets. Oh, yeah, but still not working out for me. Not taking kindly on the RTFM response. I tried, I read, I followed, it didn't work. Part of the documentation was that if you put a magenta blob on the map, the game will treat that as the city centre. So I thought, okay, if I put a magenta blob here, I would expect there to be a city here. You put it on the height map that you import. But it just ignored the magenta blobs that I put in. And it was 2550255 magenta. In a PNG with no bleeding. But alas. And there doesn't seem to be that much of a community based around the map modding in this game. Although it seems to have fairly active community in the regular places. Casuals, man, can't trust them as far as you can throw them. Okay, Zeppelin, I really want to see you in operation. Ah, here we go! I ask and I receive. So a Zeppelin can carry 5 units, although I'm under the impression that that is something that can be improved upon. Advanced distribution, Zeppelin. We can up that by a staggering 60% and make them faster, although I don't know why you would care about speed for that. The Zeppelin dispatch cost is probably very oh, Christ, it is. It's very expensive. However, it carries 2.5 times that of a truck. So that alone is probably making it much more worthwhile. Because really that's just a transport cost of about 3,000, well less than 3,000 per unit of dye. And again, those dyes are selling for 27,000 a pop. And that's not even at an outrageous markup. Speaking of outrageous markups, oh my days, those summer clothes can't come soon enough. So Zeppelin Docks. And as expected, the units go directly to the warehouse without needing to be shipped. So that means you could put a Zeppelin, say, here, and the goods would magically transport over to the warehouse. Makes me wonder why there is a road that even leads to the Zeppelin. Why? For what purpose? Well, it doesn't matter too much. That clothing store is getting my dye, and that's the reason that I make healthy surpluses. Yeah, that's actually a surplus of over 1 million. It's just because I keep spending. Oh lord, do I keep spending. I even get an achievement for it. High flying. Sounds like me, alright. And I'm spending tons of money on research. Okay, we'll get our monthly investment stuff up and then I will plow my way into those summer clothes. Ooh. Now, tell me more. This is one of the things in the game that I just do not understand how it works. Irrigation Tower will collect and distribute... Storage is full? Oh dear, I've been making all this cotton and not giving it to anyone. Textile Factory 3. Oh good lord, 2 of these have had no destination. They are filled to the brim. Well, this one's not filled to the brim. Ah, because you are actually sending it to Textile Factory, but you are not. Why did I even build you? I suspect my Textile Factories get all they need for now. Summer... Oh, maybe I made you for the summer clothes, because summer clothes... No, they don't need wool. Winter clothes need wool. Summer clothes just need lots of what I'm already making here. Is that so? Maybe I was just going to sell raw cotton to somewhere? Because there is a demand for raw cotton. So both of you are overflowing with cotton right now. Cotton. Yeah, my poor hardware store back here is not getting enough of it. What's the capacity on this warehouse? 74 units. I could send it to the warehouse and then have the warehouse send it over there. probably work out a little bit cheaper. Yeah, that would kind of work out. Could I also sell my cotton over here? Yeah, they want cotton as well, and I doubt my friend down here is producing enough of it, or in fact any of it. Okay, that somewhat works to me. We'll be able to chew through that in no time. That being the case, get over to that warehouse. Don't send if that warehouse already has, say, 10 of the stuff. He needs to ship it out himself as well. Good, good, good. No need on the minimum keep. And then you are going to have... Thankfully you can have unlimited destination slots on warehouses. I was avoiding warehouses for a long time on this, and in my opinion for good reason. You don't need them early on, but now that we have long distances to go, the fact that you can pack goods tighter into the trucks means that that hefty transport fee isn't quite so bad. So make sure you're full and meet demand. And we have another one of these going over to here. There is something to be said for zeppelining them over to there. So you know what? I will. Going to Warehouse 5, buy Zeppelin with full units. And you are going to send that cotton over to that hardware store. Make sure it's full. That's a lot of transport fee for some very baseline ingredients. But it's better than them just piling up in the fields. This is going to be one busy intersection. I can definitely envision much more efficient ways to set up your warehouses for ingress and egress. Especially considering left-hand drive. Thankfully this game has one-way roads. I haven't made any use of them because there hasn't been a need to. My traffic hasn't been that heavy. But it's getting heavier. Is there a reason you leave the center of the tree farm empty? Yes, yes there is. There is a technology that allows you to place 5 fields instead of 3. So for this cotton field, for example, it owns this, this and this field, but it's got space for 2 more fields here, and 2 more for this, 2 more for this, 2 more for this, and that would fill up the entire center. However, where do irrigation towers come into it, I wonder? I actually have no idea at all. Do they need to be placed near water? If I place an irrigation thing here, where there is clearly no water, will it work? If I place an irrigation thing here, where there is water, will it also work? Jake just doesn't know, but he's going to find out. I don't intend for either of these to be optimal, I just want to figure out how it works. I mean, it has a road network, so is water delivered there? Destination of water to there, and there, and there. Oh my. Wait, why is it showing water being driven out there? The towers work the way water truck union will allow them to work. Okay, and one irrigation tower can only hit up 3 places. So does that mean that this water tower, for example, could, would, and should deliver to the... Yeah, okay. In that case, what is the point? There's bound to be one, but given that you would just ship water to these anyway, I suppose it's to centralize water delivery, because water delivery to farms is very heavy on the amount of trucks that you would need. So you could, for example, since this has a massive radius that can be expanded by 10, you would have a central water tower with trucks coming in and out just non-stop, and then you would have a dedicated road for that. I understand. However, at this point in the game, that is not a concern for me. Perhaps later on you'd have a plan that has farms based around these, which is a bit of a turn-off. I don't like the idea of the optimal way of doing things, which is why it would be nice playing in Europe without terraforming over water. Terraforming is what I'm looking for. There we go. Reason being that, say, if I wanted to build up in Italy, I'd have to make do with the horrific terrain of Italy. The boys in the water truck union were just saying what a shame it would be if something were to happen to that nice water tower that you've got there. I gotta say, the truck driving union's got discount Brazil by the balls. Can't do anything with them without them being on your case. Oh man, I'm loving seeing those Zeppelins go to and fro. It does remind me quite a bit of those Transport Tycoon games, in fact heavily so, because you've got all the road management, then you've got the rails, and then when you just can't be bothered and just want to make money, in those games you set up an airfield here, and an airfield here, and it just prints money. What games have that? Open Transport Tycoon, Transport Fever, and all the rest. Still, I do like seeing these Zeppelins go to and fro. There's an auction. Deliver planks. For 3 million, that is tempting, but I have to... I'd rather not. In a way, these auctions are a bit of a pain because they kind of tear you away from your well-oiled setup, and your well-oiled setup should certainly be lucrative enough not to need that. Permit to build in Porto Algeri. Ah, my oil. Sadly, though, I can't afford that. I could take out a loan to afford that, but I think I will not. Alright, summer clothes. Let's spend all of our freaking money on that. And now my money's just gonna go down and down. R&D expenses spiraling out of control. But that's okay. Once I get my summer clothes, well, I'll be selling my summer clothes, and probably not at that much of a markup compared to the other goods, but there'll be less that I have to deliver, so it'll take away from those costs. And even with my outrageous R&D, I'm kind of almost making money. And I'm slowly paying off that loan, so it's all good. Olinda want milk. I wonder if there's a way to disable these. I don't think they add much. It's just money, and that's not meaningful. The joy in this kind of game is in setting up your logistical empire. No challenge with them organizing trains and roads. That's where the fun is at, says Ninja. Precisely. Although I gotta say the Zeppelin's going to be particularly useful if you have some really dense industry here and no room to shove a train out, but as usual, trains reign supreme. The cost of going from A to B by train is not that big. Look at that. The cost from going from there to there is only 4,000, and the capacity is higher than that of a Zeppelin. The only downside, I suppose, is the upfront cost and the space for these, but I think that's not a problem because you can research the ability to go around that. If we look up, what would it be under? Logistics? Yeah, there we go. Tunnels and bridges. Ooh, urban road speed. Essentially, we could just go around our created problems here, or rather go over them. Look at that there. Did I say capacity 8? I meant capacity 12. Making turns that would derail any real train. In goes the meat. And then out goes the meat. I find this kind of stuff an absolute joy to check out. And... I hope that's Salvador. No? What is going on? I think a town upgraded. Probably Contagion did. They've got some ironmongery going on. They want diodes and buttons. Not the kind of button I was thinking of. It needs plastic and copper wire, but yeah, you can get some fat dosh out of this stuff, but not nearly as fat as the dosh we can get from that clothing store. Still, I like the idea that the AIs are building up these cities as well, giving you other options, so it's not a case of, oh man, I can't do this thing because there's no demand for it, I'll have to go and do all the heavy lifting in Canoas. No, the AIs do it as well. And I like their different approaches. There are only two here, but we've got one guy who just wants to reap the earth clean of its natural resources, and we've got the family core who are going a bit more Nestle on the situation. They're going for water wells. It's probably easier on the AI to use wells than harvesters. I think harvesters are cheaper, but more complicated and space intensive to set up. So maybe considering it, wells would be better. Haven't tried wells. But it would be a nice way to get it set up without having to terraform this stuff in, but I don't know. This just seems more right. In any case, onwards. I want my summer clothes. Seems more Factorio, says Marvin. And that can only be a good thing. I'd be happier if my bank balance was going up rather than down, but that's entirely due to me rushing my R&D expenses here. I wonder if I will be able to afford the takeover at this rate. Yeah, my foes aren't gaining money nearly as fast as I am. I will, however, need to set up another textile factory to turn all these things into clothes. If anything, the smart thing would be to vastly increase my everything here, but I'm not sure I want to go through the bother of expanding, especially the water stuff. The fact that this stuff is so water intensive is what's hurting me here. It might be interesting next time I play to go for something that's far less water intensive, so that would mean no to crop farming and livestock ranching, but what does that leave you with? Coal? Sand? Actually, what would that leave you with? I guess you could mine out copper cheaply enough. Ah, of course, all my wood stuff did not demand water, did it? The pulp did, but hardly a huge amount of it. Yeah, in fact, you could go heavy on just wood, couldn't you? Looking at it... Oh, I could make myself some barrels. Everyone loves barrels. Wall panels, yeah, it's not going to be water intensive going full on in the wood. Then there's a different kind of balance though. There's needing to have the forests available to get your wood, and needing to not kill all the trees with pollution out of your carpentry places. Alright, we've gotten ourselves the clothes. Problem is, if it can be called a problem, how are we getting ourselves those clothes done? Needs dyes and these textiles, which I already don't produce enough of. I just want to make a wee bit of them. Is that too much to ask? I have not given myself much space for setting this up, because I decided to build it on this hill. Well, woe is me. That'll do you nicely. So I want you to make those summer clothes, which means priority destination for you. Sending them over there. And the same goes for our textile factories that are making the dyes. There we go. We should share them between them now. Should, he says. Might take a wee bit of time before I actually get some summer clothes operational. But when I do, should be a fat stack of dosh waiting for me on the shipments. Hang on, is it tier 3? It is tier 3, excellent. I'll get my achievement yet for shipping out some tier 3 goods. Again, very low cost proportional to what these things are going to be worth. Why is the transport cost of... Oh, right, because I'm not using the... I was wondering why was it so cheap to be transporting. Of course, I wasn't telling it to use the Zeppelin. But yes, send the Zeppelin when it's full. Probably going to take a long time, a few months at least, until I have 5 of these ready to go. Because it's going to be waiting on dyes which are being underproduced, and these textiles which also need my underproduced dyes. There is no marble industry, Naffle. Not to my knowledge, at least. Leaves me without much R&Ding, but that's okay. It'll give me a chance to actually stockpile some money, because I do want to buy out some competition. If nothing else, to get it done. What's the assistant asking me to do? Buy and sell, build and sell a prototype. My problem with that is that no one's going to buy my prototype. I suppose I need to build up one of these places, but I'm not too fussed about doing that. I wonder, since oil is so costly to buy from the state, can't you buy the crude from your competitor down south? As far as I am aware, no. You can only buy from the state, or get stuff naturally, or out of the ground one way. The competitor will make things and just sell it to market, and then you cannot buy back from the market. I'm shipping Zeppelins over here more often than I thought. Just how much of this stuff is coming over. Hopefully I'm not saturating the market. You are selling that cotton, right? Yes, I assume that you've simply met the demand of this hardware store. Yes, it's even stored up there. Now the clothing store is getting the light fabrics that they want. And I'm getting the money I want. Hey, and our clothes shop is on the go. Always wanted my wooden planks. No, no, and more no. I should check and see just how much... Oh, apparently that's 250% value of them. But I use them for making my... I use them for making these things, which isn't quite as much money, but it's certainly less work. I don't know what is up with these people in Porto Alegre, but they just strongly desire some wood. Probably because it's a growing city, since I have been very gracefully supplying the city with milk, leathers, and meat. Frankly, a little too generous if you're asking me. All that power flowing into the pockets of the truck-driving mafia. God, I love seeing this. The transport comes in, it goes and gets sold. What are you selling there? More fabrics, I think it was. Does mean that Aracaju is perhaps too prospering. I don't know what bloated means, and I would love a tooltip to explain what it means. Maybe it's somewhere in the help panel. Advanced. Maybe about these prototype. To win Rise of Industry, you must build and sell a prototype to a shop that will buy it, generating one will not only advance a settlement high enough to spawn a showroom. Okay, but how much does it need to advance? I do not know. No town advancements, no research going on. Maybe it just comes with time. I helped a mate move some furniture earlier. I'm pooped, says Proto-Zamak. Wait, whoa, what is this? I feel for you, though. It takes a very strong level of friendship to actually willingly help someone move furniture. It means you're a better man than I am. So, Salvador requires either an investment or all of the listed products to advance to town status. Does this mean that... Well, what does it mean? None of these shops seem to buy any of the prototype stuff. Well, actually, is any of that prototype stuff? Getting to pick the store is really nice, but I definitely wouldn't want it to be a clothing store since I already have a clothing store to deliver to down here. Actually, flip side to that idea is maybe you definitely want a clothing store because it's free demand for something you already have research on how to build. Didn't think of that, did I? Perhaps I should have. The issue for me is that none of these things are actually the prototype stuff. You can pay instead of delivering. That's very expensive. They'll still grow on their own, or they'll ask for help from other settlements. Wall panels, huh? Do I get paid for giving them wall panels? It requires something that looks like circuitry that I do not have, though. You know what, let's just pay to see what happens here. There we go, now I don't miss Chinese New Year here. Well, Brazilian New Year, of course, for Discount Brazil. I built up that clothing store, don't think I'm going to be using it though. Well, actually, if I want my place to prosper, it's probably better to send the goods over there, but not fussed about it, just want to make my money. It's El Presidente's birthday. No quinoas, no milk for you. I feel it's very quick to jump to this whole... God, how do I turn off edge scrolling? I thought I had that off already. Edge scrolling speed, goodbye. Ah, who still uses edge scrolling in this day and age? Imagine spitting in the face of WASD like that. Excellent, excellent. Although now I'm wondering, what's the next step for us? You got 4 of those summer clothes when you get the next one in, and it is coming along. That'll be a hefty shipment of dosh for me. I mean, that's 500,000 straight up. Any whiskey production in this? Asks Carlos von Psycho. Ah, you don't steal the wind out of my sails. The whole plan, if I get that Europe map, is to have Scotland be the prime producer of whiskey, and absolutely, grain whiskey's right there. You can also make some beer. I suppose we do what we can with Germany. That's what I'd like to do when I get the Euromap, if and when I get the Euromap operational. Put the most stereotypical production into places that I can, and or burn places to the ground and cover them in awful smog. Where in Europe has the worst air pollution? I'm told Krakow is really bad, but certainly there's going to be worse, right? You've got vodka, beer, whiskey, and brandy. And you've got wine and hard cider, but if you want a gin... Well, maybe one of the final things here is a gin, but I somewhat doubt it. Salesman unlocked. What was salesman the achievement for? Talk to me, Steam achievements. Ah, there we go. Since I've sold the clothes now at ridiculously inflated prices, we're now considered a salesman. Krakow is really bad since people heat homes with anything they can find, and there's absolutely no wind to blow the smog away, says Catan. Enlightening. But also sounds quite horrible. Not a big fan of air pollution. I mean, who would be? Seems like a A bit of a redundant attitude to have. Oh heavens, yes, the profit is rolling in now. Although it could roll in more aggressively. But I'm happily making $1 million each. Oh my god, they really want their wooden planks. Why? Why are people so hungry for my wooden planks? I don't get it. I'm also wondering, since Salvador is apparently growing and growing, has their demand for goods grown here? They still only want 3 furniture bases per 15 days. And I make 3 per day, so I'm meeting that quite handily. I am on the fence about just grabbing that, but the thing is, at this point, I just fast forward and money comes pouring in. There's a demand of wheat. You're quite alright. There is something to be said for just building up more and more here, but because I don't have the attachment on the map, I'm not seeing the overwhelming need to expand at this point. What I really want to do is do that on the Euro map, and I will take one... I'll take one additional look at the Euro map once we're done here. I think I'll be done when I buy out one of my competitors here, but I would actually like to win the game, as it says. I just don't know how much I need to build up Salvador to be able to produce that last good. The town is continuing to prosper, but how much more does it need to prosper before... No thanks, I'm Canoas. How much more does it need to prosper before I can give it its prototype good? Also, which prototype good would I go for? These seem to need a lot of things. It takes 2 or 3 more oh my goodness, okay, that's a bit more than I'm willing to go for then. Okay. Right, I think I have all the information I need, as Eurista would say. We've got our Zeppelins, we've seen how the distribution of water works, and I do think the distribution of water from the irrigation plant is going to be superior to just driving it over with the water siphons. If nothing else, you'd be able to cut down on dispatch costs by shoving them in via warehouse drivers. Possibly, actually, because it's still 3... Well, it's more trucks, but less distance. But that aside, though, it would cut down on traffic immensely. Not that my traffic flow is a problem here. If we look over at traffic heat map... I keep pressing escape to get rid of things like this, but escape brings you to this menu. Old habits. I remember the write-up from Factoria about player habits of pressing certain buttons for things. I mean, if this is as hot and heavy as my traffic problems get, I think we've got a good thing going on here. It's because I spaced out quite a lot. Some advice I read about this game is to build everything as densely as possible to cut down on travel costs, but I can just imagine the horrendous situation you're going to have with your traffic if I didn't have all these big bits of space going on. How about my competitor? Do they have traffic problems? Do I even get to see if they do? Oh, yes. He's got a choke point over here because he has all these trucks trying to go into the warehouse. Oh my days, I have seen traffic setups just like this in real life. I did security for an oil and gas production site, and it could not have been less conveniently placed for the giant vehicles that they needed to deliver all the parts for. And it did not look too dissimilar to this, except the destination was up a giant hill as well. Oh my days, a lot of very unhappy truck drivers who've probably come all the way from the south of England hauling ass, and they see that that's where they've got to drive into. I gotta say, it's highly amusing, so I didn't have to deal with much of that. I mean, I could watch it. It's very travel inefficient, but that's why they have trains. Damn right. Good games should have trains in them. Well, I'm actually surprised you would end up full of water, but it's not the end of the world that you do. I suppose that's one of the times where you would cut down on the percentage of working here, so the upkeep goes down, they do it slower, so it would still operate. In fact, that's very convenient, because there doesn't seem to be any downside to this. Although much like Factorio, surely you'd always want the extra production. Since there's no added pollution, that's a very good bonus there. So double the cost, double the output. Same space. That's amazing. That is incredibly good. Does that mean we should set up Iberia to be 25% and then set up, say, Germany to be 200%? And then in Russia we just alternate every month on what they are? Could get behind that. Okay. There's one last thing I want to do in the game, and that is buy out a competitor to see how that goes. And I wonder if I could just take out a cheeky little loan to do that. I'll admit I'm at the end game with what I want to do with this save, because I don't want to carry on with it only to tear it all down to start a new one. So what if I just take out a 20 million loan? If you pay off a 20 million loan, do you pay the extra on it or not? I don't want to risk finding out on a 20 million loan. Let's test it out on a 5 million loan. So we have 3184, 2684. Ooh, that's very generous. In real life, you tend to have to pay an extra if you clear out a loan that much earlier. As I would understand it, of course, I wouldn't take out such reckless loans, surely. But it makes me wonder, can we just recklessly use this money to remove the competition? These share prices are getting a lot more expensive. There we go. So with that, we've bought over Family Core. And we get to choose if we demolish all of their buildings or not. Yeah, do demolish them. What do I make back? Oh ho ho. Wait. Ah, I didn't buy out who I thought I bought out. I bought out these guys, not Family Core. Family Core are playing with the big boys. Dear, oh dear. Well, the people that loaned me money are going to be very unhappy very soon. I wonder if they would loan me more money. Buying out Family Core is probably considerably more hard. Okay, I can only take out the 3 loans. So we end up $41.5 million in debt. Surely not a problem. What's the amortization in all of this? Every penny we make. But hey, we got a cheeky amount to work with here. I wonder if I got any of their goods when I did that. Well, no, I suppose I demolished all their stuff. But I did get their oil and gas and such. Right, so it's very unceremonious when you buy out a competitor. But what else would you honestly expect to get? If they had technology, getting access to that would be quite nice. Let me think. They were doing... No, I think I already had vegetables. They were doing liquor, as I recall. No, were they doing liquor? What were they doing? Were they doing anything I didn't already have access to myself? Oh geez, wish I'd made a save before that so I could have checked. Did they have any technology that I didn't already have myself? I really should have checked what they were doing. I'm not seeing anything I didn't already have access to. Did I have chocolate before, though? I'm certain they were making olives, though, and I do not have olives. I just don't recall ever getting chocolate. The rest of that's just boo-hoo here. Oh well. They started with chocolate yesterday. Okay, I've actually seen everything I need to see in this game. I like it a lot, and I really do want to play a big game of this. I mean, it's going to be a long play in all but name, but I still do want to do it. Probably do it side by side with Amayui, but it all depends on getting one thing to work. Let's save up and end this here. Discount Brazil. Just call it Finn there. And also load our old save to see if we had access to chocolate before or not, because I am dying to know. Load a save from just a few minutes before we bought out, because I'm certain I didn't buy chocolate during that time. I'm afraid you'll have to fix the city names by power of imagination, says Baskinger. There's gotta be a way. Alright, before I did the buyout, I did not have access to chocolate. Oh, and I didn't have access to veggies or hops. So I did get their technology. It's just that their technology is kind of rubbish. Come to think of it, I paid about $20 million for some cloudy old oil fields and somebody's little private chocolate field. I got the lumber yards, sure, but who honestly cares that much about lumber? Not this guy. No siree. There's got to be a better way to set this up, but I do like having this great big woodlands that we actually put to good use. And they are replanting the trees, which is a lovely touch. Makes you wonder if I could set up a light bit of pollution here. But in these kinds of games, lightish pollution ain't the way forward. They sold you some breads and ran off with the cash. Now, I rather think what they did to me was what I did to all the buyers in the RimWorld run-through. Okay. So what's the next step here? I need to find a way to get this Europe map to work. Or really any map. It doesn't have to be Europe, but if I was able to figure it out, it would work for any map. And I've showed this off 2 or 3 times before, but I don't care. I'm doing it again because it's really quite dear to me. In a game like this, I just don't care about this random map blob. I want to build on something that I have a bit of affinity towards. And in this case... no, that's fine. No, not Sul America. Actually, why don't we load Brazil for an example? Brazil's a tricky one. The water level is very difficult to set at the right level without drowning half the place or having no land whatsoever. Let's see if that works. Oh, it's river generation. The 2100 scenario doesn't appeal to me there, Pepper. The land is scorched in that one. I tried looking into save editing Proto Mac. I couldn't find a reasonable way to read the game's saves, though. No, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. You can see the outline of South American hills here, but I set the water level to be too low. The preview doesn't do it quite right. I'll set it to 5 and give it another go. Show me the South America again, please. .4. Oh, I have a preview if it's lying. I don't know, Ave. I just don't know. I feel like you set it to a percentage and then it rounds to the nearest 2 or 5%. But it certainly doesn't do what I hope it does. Sadly, Baron, I can't find a way to rename cities after you generate the map. And when it generates the cities, it pulls randomly from a list. You can edit the list, but you're not going to edit the order that it takes it from. Okay, well, I've drowned much of Brazil, and I've accidentally given them European names. but this is kind of my point here. Let's say I wanted to play a game with horribly soaked Brazil. I would want these cities to be in somewhat correct locations with the correct names. But I just cannot find a way to get that to work. This would be a very challenging map to play on. There's no good land to build on. Everything is soaked. Protozamax saying that they've seen nothing wrong with the map. Well, to the South Americans watching here, did you survive the Great Flood? Chileans are alright at least. Germania, Iberia, Balkans. This is because I'm using my list of European names in the game. Greater Poland is looking pretty greater there. But I think Francia, no, who's the big one? There's usually one city that has over 100,000. Oh, I guess they're all small and stagnating. What a shame for that. I'm sure the BRs are happy with all of Argentina just sunken into the sea. It swings and roundabouts. You lose half of Brazil, but you lose all of Argentina. Can't be that bad. Yeah, the Balkans sneaking away in. This is the point, though. I want to play on a real world map. I'll take 1/3 stab at it, and I'll actually use Europe instead of Brazil, because I know the right one to put the water level at. What I can do is on Create Scenario to show the modability that's available. So you can name the thing. You can put in your description. Unique ID is just set for you. You can make up a seed, which I think is what it draws from to place trees, rocks, goods, probably the city locations as well, but I'm not sure. I tried copy-pasting it and got different city locations. You can set what you have to do to win, and I'm honestly not sure enough about what would be a good win condition. Don't really want to win though, I just want to set up something beautiful. Choose the available buildings, choose the kind of events that pop up. Don't know why you can't just choose all with the click of a button. Enable bankruptcy. I cannot get over how bad the game's intro music is. Go away. It's so terrible. Oh god, no. No, 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 no. I thought that was back. It was not back. There we go. Now, where was I? Let's get our European map. Almost all of Europe is in the water right now, but if we set this down to, what was it, pi%, I think? Yeah, 3.14 works nicely. It does not sync the Netherlands, which might be good or bad. Just brute force it like you do with the puzzles. Enough tweaking the seed and you'll have the cities in the right places. I don't know about that. I have generated this map easily at least 20 times. Not once does it put a city in the UK or Italy, which I suppose is fine. Those are nightmarish places to build on. It's something you'd build a bridge over to and then get your hops and barley. But only once did it ever spawn me a city in France and a city in Iberia. This seems incredibly unbalanced that if you take the Balkans here, you get all of France and all of Iberia to work with. And if you had, let's say you got Germania, little slim on your opportunities for building there. Iberia or the Balkans, who's to say? The divisions here are alright. I mean, I would have Russian Empire here. Well, maybe not so great for Poland. Greater Poland would have to accept a bit of being moved aside by Germania here. Scandinavia, the Balkans, France. I just need a division here to get Iberia. But my problem is, I can't find a way to do this in the game. I can't find a way to place the cities and divide up the map as I want it. And I really want to. I just think it would add a lot more to the game to being able to play on a historic map. But I will persevere. I want to find a way to do that. And if I can, run a fairly in-depth playthrough on this. If If I can't get that to work, I might just have to accept that there are awful city locations here. Or I'll just randomize until I get something here that looks alright. But I just want to build. Is it too much for a man to just want to build up his glorious home of Europa? I don't think so. Still though, for now though, although that wasn't a particularly long session, I've covered everything I wanted to do in this game until I get this working. And until I do, that'll be all we see of Rise of Industry. I'll be back this evening with more Amayui. Given how early it is, I might start it early. We'll see about that. There's a lot of Amayui to chew through. But until I am back with that, it is a cheers and a cheerio.